title is Fasting for Health. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's not very, how do I say, attractive to most of us because we think eating is really nourishing, and because our custom is to eat 3 times a day or more, then this lecture may change your insight about it, okay? So I got some of the information from an article at an Australian journal, an Adventist journal, and also some Australian statistics, plus, of course, the books or articles of Ellen G. White. Okay, so the world is getting fatter. Okay, as you can see, it is an epidemic here in Australia. 1 in 4 children, or 25%, are either overweight or obese. Okay, in adults, it's much worse. It's about 2 in 3, 67%. Are either overweight or obese. So overweight is about 36%, obese is about 31%, and that's based on the 2017-2018 statistics. Okay, so how much more now? Because of the pandemic, we're not very active. We don't go out too much. We stay at home, and what do we tend to do when we're at home? We tend to eat. Okay, so it's getting really scary. So there are lots of research now that's coming out roughly in the last 5 to 10 years about intermittent fasting. You probably have heard about, so what is intermittent fasting? It's a voluntary abstinence from food. Okay. There are different ways. We have the popular 16-8 diet, so we have that means you fast for 16 hours, you eat for 8 hours a day. There are those who really like to lose a lot of weight. They use the alternate day fasting. So for 24 hours, they fast, and then followed by another 24 hours, they eat alternately. Fast, eat, fast, eat. Okay. There are those who can't do regular, like everyday intermittent diet, so they just do the 5-2 diet. So what it means is that 5 days a week, you just eat the same way as you eat regularly, but 2 days a week, you do the intermittent fasting, which is usually the 8-16 diet. The warrior diet is quite different, that you really eat, you don't eat during the day, but you have just 1 meal a day, and they usually do it at night. Okay. So there are different kinds of diet. I'm not saying that you do all these diets, but these are the ones that are out there in the research setting. Okay? So I just want to let you know that these diets, which are just getting popular in the last decade, was actually proposed by Mrs. White in the 1900s. So for over 100 years, she said in Spiritual Gifts, our plain food eaten twice a day is enjoyed with keen relish. We have no meat, cake, or any rich food upon our table. We use no lard. We have our food prepared with little salt and have dispensed with spices of all kinds. We break the fast at 7 and take our dinner at 1. Okay. I have, within 8 months, lost 25 pounds of flesh. I am better without it. I have more strength that I've realized for years. So that's basically the 16-8 diet, or the twice-a-day fasting diet, which there are lots and lots of studies, not just in Europe, but in America, in Australia, that really how would I say, propose that this is a healthy way to do it. But do we have scientific facts to back this up? Okay. So let's have a look first at the study done by Dr. Kaliva and Fraser from the Journal of Nutrition in 2017. They had over 50,000 participants, so this is a huge study. And they have found, number one, people who regularly ate only 2 meals per day had decreased their BMI. So to those who don't know BMI is a basal metabolic index. So we check it by height and weight, and the normal BMI should be between 19 to 24.9. Okay. So they're saying you lose your weight when you only eat 2 meals a day. Next, people who ate more than 3 meals a day increase their BMI, and the more snacks they eat, the greater the weight gain. Okay. Next, those whose largest meal of the day was breakfast actually experienced a larger decrease in their BMI. So breakfast is still really important. But we'll talk about that later as well. Next, skipping dinner altogether contributed to weight loss. What did Ellen White say? She eats breakfast at 7 and dinner at about 1. Okay. So definitely there's no dinner there, and there's a big weight loss benefit there. And how long do you have to, is the interval between meals? It should be at least 5 to 6 hours, okay, between the breakfast and the lunch time. Okay. So there are 7 principles in fasting. Number 1, there should be regularity in eating. So you just don't eat like different hours. So you really have to set some time so that the body will understand that, hey, this is the time to eat, and then this is the time to fast. Okay. Number 2, as I said earlier, at least 5 hours between the first and second meal. Number 3, no snacking between meals. 4, the last meal should be at least 4 to 5 hours before you go to bed. Okay. Why? Because you really need to digest that food. And by the time you go to bed, the body should be able to rejuvenate and refresh itself. It shouldn't be working anymore. So you have to really have that 4-hour gap after you eat your last meal till bedtime. Okay. 5th, you should have simple foods. Okay. The more, when you see a packet of food that you buy from the grocery, check the ingredients. The more ingredients, if it has more ingredients, more than 3 or 4 or 5, that means it's not simple, of course. So the more salt, the more sugar, preservatives you get, then the worse it is for your health. Next, number 6, let water be your friend or your helper. So what do you do in between eating? You drink water. Okay. Why? Because our body is made up of 70% water. Why do you have to put soda or fruit juice or like anything else, coffee or tea or any caffeinated drinks? We need water, and that's what will help you. And number 7, let exercise be your friend. Okay. So these are the principles that we have learned from that research. And you probably say, oh, it's an Adventist research. Probably it's just, within our church. But actually, there are several other researches that are out there that back this up too. So what are the benefits of intermittent fasting? So probably you will say, oh, just to lose weight, isn't it? But actually it's not. There are lots and lots more. Okay, and these are just 10 of them. So number 1, it can protect against neurodegenerative disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, cognitive decline. Okay. There are studies that are showing that if you're diagnosed with MCI, or mild cognitive impairment, that's actually a reversible disease. You can reverse that while it's not too late into Alzheimer's, into dementia, okay? And how do we do that? By, one thing is by intermittent fasting. And I will let you know how it happens later, okay? Number two, it actually drops your insulin level. So when your insulin is down, then there's less chance for you to develop hunger. There's less chance. So it doesn't mean when you're fasting, you're hungry, hungry, hungry. You'll realize that when you fast and you get used to that, you will not feel hungry, okay? Check it out, because I have done intermittent fasting for the last 4 weeks. And I really can attest to that, okay? Next, it reduces insulin resistance, and it lowers blood sugar levels, of course, because when you fast, you don't have much of the carbohydrates and the sugar intake, then your blood sugar level will go down. Okay. It reduces the risk of heart disease. It reduces your blood pressure and your cholesterol level. Okay. It boosts the metabolism, so it actually makes you burn fat easier. Okay. How does it work? Because think about it, when you fast, you don't have the sugar as the fuel, right? So what happens is that the body will try to look for alternative fuel. Because after about 4 to 6 hours, when you don't have any more fuel left there while fasting, then the body will get the fat. Okay? The body will get the fat and eat that fat and make it as your fuel. Okay? So you'll realize you'll lose the fat in your tummy, in your visceral organs, like fatty liver. So the easiest way I tell my patients to improve their health and reverse fatty liver is actually just to fast, okay? So then it actually, of course, extends your lifespan and help you live longer. Okay? It also reduces oxidative damage and inflammation in the body. I actually have an Adventist patient who had rheumatoid arthritis. And she told me whenever she has a flare, really a bad flare, so rheumatoid arthritis have really painful joints, she fasts during that day. And the inflammation dramatically goes down. Okay? Then it also removes waste materials from cells, which I'll be talking about sooner. And it also reduces the leptin, which helps us increase our testosterone level. So men, watch out. Fasting can help you boost your testosterone, okay? So I would like to introduce to you a Japanese doctor who was the Nobel Prize winner in 2016 for physiology or medicine, okay? Why? Because this doctor introduced us to a term called autophagy. Okay? So I don't want, it's a big word, I know, but if we cut it into two, auto means self, phagy means eat. Okay? So what happens with fasting is you actually have that autophagy, that during starvation, the cells break down proteins and other cell components and use them for energy. Okay. During autophagy, the cells destroy the viruses, bacteria, and gets rid of damaged structures. So it's actually just like recycling your cell components. Isn't it great? When you starve, you actually clean yourself up. Okay. So it's a process that is critical for cell health, renewal, and survival. So, yep. Mm-hmm.
I come from Holland. Been to Holland after the Second World War.
food.
You need to eat all the extra sugar stuff. Just the plain fruit, and it was much healthier than before.
Exactly, and I believe in that. So, look, I really want to talk more, but we don't have enough time. But as I said, in the 1900s, Mrs. White told us wisdom that we are just finding out now, okay, scientifically. So obviously, this came from God himself. So please, if so this is her quote, if Seventh-day Adventists practice what they profess to believe, if they were sincere health reformers, they would indeed be a spectacle to the world, to angels, and to men. So I think that is something to ponder upon for all of us. It may not be for everyone, intermittent fasting. I'm not telling you to all fast today, but it's something that may help you and your health, and also those whom you know that are struggling in their health issues. Then 2 meals a day, 5 hours interval may be for you or for him or her. Okay? And it's not a fad. It is something that actually God gave to Mrs. White, and that needs to also be shared to the people around us. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll have our